Welcome to Talking Greek Business. I'm your host, Nick Skrekis. And today we have a rather different kind of guest, but no less interesting than anyone else that we've spoken to. We have Poka, a visual artist and a co-founder and co-director of the Athens Biennale. Welcome to Talking Greek Business.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Tell us about the Athens Biennale, which now is in its 4th edition. What are the activities involved?
Well, the Athens Biennale, as the name suggests, is a biannual cultural event, international cultural event. Of course, it starts from the contemporary arts, contemporary visual arts, but then it expands in the same way as the contemporary art now embraces other forms of expression, such as theater, performances, music, even fashion.
And I assume we also have some lectures for the public?
Of course, there's a big parallel program of lectures, talks, workshops. Yes, we want to kind of merge the theoretical part, which is something that we are lacking here in Greece, with the spectacle of the exhibition itself. It's something so wide that starts from the brain up to your nerves.
It's all embracing, which is good.
Yeah.
How has the Athens Biennale been received, both locally and outside of Greece? And have there been some benefits to Greece from such a large-scale event?
The Biennale, it was such a challenge to make at the beginning. Nobody really expected to have something like that in Greece when we started. So we were kind of aliens, suggesting that we should do something like that. But then when it happened, and because of the huge importance that Athens has internationally, I mean, Athens still resonates, Greece resonates internationally, not from what it stands from the past and the history, etc., but also for democracy, philosophy, the arts. And people were very eager to know what's happening in contemporary Athens. Is that just a transit destination to go to hop to an island, or is it something more than that? And then there was a momentum, huge momentum. Athens, of course, negative in a way, but momentum is still a momentum. People are concentrated and they see what's going on in Greece. And the visual art scene was very, very lively, very active. So there was many things to start working with. So the reception was great internationally. It was a huge success from the 1st edition. Now we are moving to the 4th edition, as you said. But also it drastically changed the things that are going on here in the art scene. I believe that now we're more mature to move on to a new era of contemporary culture in Greece. Before that, we were really stuck in the past.
Do we have some tangible economic benefits from such a large-scale contemporary event?
This is something I love to share, because usually either the technocrats speak about the benefits that a city gains from touristic events or whatever, but not many times you have the opportunity to tap into what contemporary art, what the arts in general do for the city that hosts them. The Lyon Biennale, one of the affiliate biennales that we have collaborated in the past, we have initiated a network of the European biennales for the first time as the rookies in Athens. We try to reach them, Istanbul, Liverpool, Berlin, and Lyon. We learned from our friends there that a biennale returns 1.5 times the budget it has to the city. So the city
so if
benefits.
10 euros is spent, it's worth 15 for the city.
Yeah.
There's multiplier effects.
Imagine that the first editions of the Biennale costed 1.5 million each. Therefore, there was a huge benefit.
Huge secondary benefit as well.
Yeah, but of course, don't believe that anyone acknowledges that. Here.
No.
Not much. And unfortunately, we don't have this kind of people that know how to benefit and strategically plan on this kind of...
Are there opportunities, even amid this crisis, for the cultural sector here in Athens, Greece?
The cultural sector, of course, suffers from the crisis, especially, I believe, the theaters, the dance groups, the galleries, the museums. There are a lot of cuts. You understand that they will suffer more than anything else. We suffer also from that. But as when I have been reached many times by media from abroad asking me what's going on in arts in Greece, how do you respond in the crisis? I say that for the first time the artists benefit, not directly but indirectly. We are used, I'm a visual artist myself, we are used to work with no means, with virtually no means, meaning that we know how to do the maximum for the minimum. And when this situation changes, we are more equipped to survive, not only to survive, but to produce something that is really deep, more profound, more something that gives meaning to what we do and to others. In times of crisis, art comes as a necessity, more than ever. It's not a luxury anymore. It's not about expressing yourself. It's about expressing the times that we live in. It's also about giving a refuge to people, something to envision and something to contemplate on. A different kind of dialectics, either than the one that the analysts, the political analysts, the economic analysts are using, something that is more humane, more grounded in a way, but also elevated at the same time. It's something necessary.
Of course, a crisis isn't just a financial crisis, is it?
Of course not. Of course not.
It spreads.
It spreads.
And as you said, there is a dialectic there that it comes back and becomes a necessity to have art in one's life, looking for meaning, deeper meanings, in even ordinary things some of the time. Greece has a competitive advantage in culture. I'm sure you'd acknowledge that as well as our viewers. Is culture self-sustaining here, or does it need more government funding?
You know, Nick, I have a problem because as someone living in Greece so many years and trying to build what I'm doing and live as the others, I'm finding truly annoying when in my daily collaboration or even communication with the public sector, I'm facing this kind of numbness, this kind of, it's not my thing to do, it's not my jurisdiction, it's not my this and that. Whereas, specifically in times of crisis, you would expect more flexibility. Look, we don't have money, but we can accommodate this and this and that. Let's make synergies. Let's see strategically what we can do with the little means that we have. No, we don't have this thing, unfortunately. I mean, we are not lacking financial resources, we are lacking strategic thinking. And this is more important. Sometimes we understand, it was a huge surprise for us that the third biennial was done with a fraction of the money that the first two was done, but it was much more successful, meaning that yes, there is a way to do it. And content is not necessarily analogous to the means, but who is there to exploit that? Who is there to go it a bit further, to create this strategic planning?
So it's the lazy thinking and the red tape and the failure to be imaginative that's holding it back, far more than the resources available.
Yes, and this does not go only to the arts. That goes also, that's something that your audience will benefit, of course, to listen to. That's not, even the companies should start working and thinking out of the box. This is the way to do it, strategical planning. not just waiting for what we have today. What funds do we have today? No.
What we can create with
What
these
we
little
can-
funds
yes,
tomorrow.
For tomorrow, yes, that's it.
Poka, what inspired you to create the Biennale, and what drove you to execute this very ambitious idea?
First of all, it was a crazy thing to do. It's what we are jokingly say that it's like jumping off a skyscraper without a parachute. It was like that. You don't go out announcing that scale of an event internationally when you don't have the means to do it. In order to raise that money that I told you that it cost, it was unthinkable to do it. Just 3 individuals with our background and creators, not entrepreneurs or whatever. What drove us is the belief in the cultural scene in Athens, and also the lack of infrastructure that I have been and my colleagues have been facing for years, the last decade, the 90s, the 2000s, the huge lack of support or strategical planning or places that we could exhibit, art centers. If there were such things, we would be, probably because of our mentality, we could easily stand critically against them in a way to create a dialect and go take them further. But since there was no such infrastructure, what we thought was really radical to do was to create one. So we are radicals by temperament, but there was nothing to stand being radical against. So the only radical thing to do was to create a foundation like that, an institution, something like that. Something that will hopefully, and even without us, will sustain the decades and maybe centuries to come.
Hopefully, certainly hopefully. Now, a rather different kind of question.
Yes.
Can you share some of the things that you've learnt and some of your thoughts from the cultural sphere and the contemporary art sphere to the wider commercial sector?
Yes. In fact, because I started working more and more closely with companies and individuals and trying to find the similarities, because in order to run such a kind of an event, it's like running a company which has a lot of similarities. It's about planning. It's about learning to get in specific times outside of yourself and see what you are doing, see the environment, understand the environment and yourself, the system, you and the environment, as a third party. In order to understand what's going on, where are you standing? You have to do it once per year, I would say, to understand where are you. And then you will see what you are doing wrong. The Greek entrepreneurs have a fantastic gut feeling. They have done enormous things with small resources. But yet, many times they are victims of their own personality. The traits that they have are positive, but there are some negative as well. For example, how can you be critical about your activities, about your actions? How can you be
reflective?
Reflective, yeah. This is something that needs to be understood. Then, when you have some givens, it's interesting to, as an exercise, to change. I mean, even to change them as an exercise, to change them and see what comes if you don't have one of these. For example, if you had a shop and now the rents are going high, can you do the same job without the physical space? Yes, the internet, for example, gives a lot of opportunities. That was unthinkable some years ago. That's a very crude example of what I'm saying. But for the Biennale, it was the same. How can we have the same impact with least money if we get the people involved? That was an exercise that we did. So we changed the content in order to reflect the situation, and that paid back.
Well done. Poka, co-founder and co-director of the Athens Biennale, thank you very much for coming on Talking Greek Business. It was fascinating speaking to you.
My pleasure.